On December 10th, on Fox News, there was a interview with a Dr. Jennifer Aston, who is a contributing medical editor, which disturbed me greatly. It was the usual misinformation about diet and nutrition that we see regularly, but not on Fox News. I was appalled that Fox News would allow such misinformation. In fact, I even emailed them the following. I was appalled at the sheer arrogance of ignorance displayed by Dr. Jennifer Aston when talking about vitamins and supplements. Getting people well is something that I and others like me have been doing naturally in practice and now do through our corporation. Vitamins and minerals are necessary factors and cofactors, along with the amino acids, to turn on the body enzymes, which are from 40 to 62% essential amino acids and are rate limiting for the enzyme production. This deliberate information is something that I did not expect from Fox News, even on its kiddie show, Fox and Friends. I'd be glad to elaborate with anyone, anytime. In the meantime, I will be commenting about Dr. Pinhead on my YouTubes at Dr. Brice E. Vickery. So, one of the things that none of these doctors know, including lots of alternative doctors, where most of the nutritional information resides, is that about 90% of the people on the planet do not utilize their protein properly, which means that they are already somewhat nutritionally deficient in about everything else, since everything else is carried by protein, carrier proteins. We are upset about this because we've been through it before. In 1980, one of the few things that Congress did well was to challenge the American Cancer Society and the American Medical Association, and their investigations proved that diet did in fact have an effect on cancer. And shortly after that, the American Cancer Association, which said repeatedly for years and years, there is no relationship between diet and cancer. Well, that hogwash has stopped, and now you see the American Cancer Association say eating your veggies and things like that. But this woman goes on to say ridiculous things. Obviously, she does not measure her own patients.
There's now 2 new studies out in the Journal of the American Medical Association showing that vitamins may not be nearly as helpful as you thought when it came to preventing cancer and, well, basically keeping you healthy. Fox News medical contributor Dr. Jennifer Aston on this. Doctor, good morning to you.
Good morning to you,
Well,
Bill.
Millions pop a multivitamin every day.
Absolutely.
Are they wasting their time?
I think not only might they be wasting their time, Bill, but they're probably wasting millions and millions of dollars. The fact of the matter,
since 90% of patients are protein deficient, supplementation is essential.
the matter is that for the majority of the U.S. population who are not clinically malnourished or suffering from a chronic medical condition, those over-the-counter multivitamins are largely unnecessary. So it is a waste of money and potentially...
This is a huge business.
Oh, it's a huge business, and there are some people who think, well, it's got to be better than nothing. In reality, that's probably not true, because what's in those multivitamins are not really necessary for the average person, and what you probably do need in excess are not found in the correct amounts in there.
Well, let me get this straight here. Calcium, vitamin D,
right,
antioxidants,
yeah,
fish oil. Are you saying this is no good?
Well, I'll tell you, what I tell my patients is that unless you're living in sub-Saharan Africa or suffering from a very select few chronic and specific medical conditions, the amounts in these multivitamins are really not going to do anything significant in a beneficial level.
Vitamin and mineral cofactors, along with amino acids, make thousands of enzymes that create the function of every tissue in the body.
I think the risk when you talk about vitamins and supplements in this country is that a lot of people think, well, if a little bit is good, more must be better, and that is absolutely untrue. There are real risks.
You're turning, you know, the habits of millions on its ear right now.
Sorry.
But where do you make up for this? I mean, you should get it in your diet, right?
Well, absolutely.
But if you got a poor diet, you're taking vitamins because you think you're compensating for, well, you know, that 24-ounce ribeye you had the other night.
That's right, Bill. And you know what? To be fair and balanced, the flip side, the proponents of vitamin supplementation in this country will tell you that many Americans are, in fact, not getting the appropriate amounts of these vitamins in their diet because our diets are so poor.
It is obvious that she does no nutritional measurements on her own patients.
So most physicians are saying that certain select vitamins in additional amounts can be helpful. Probably the biggest one and probably the most important vitamin in the next decade that everyone is going to be hearing more about is vitamin D. But you're right, things like calcium, folic acid for women of childbearing age, calcium pretty much for everyone. Those are important, but you really need to take them in higher amounts.
It's apparent that she does not know the amino acid deficiency, lack of binding carriers, causes cellular calcium deficiency, no matter if supplemented or not.
I'm a little taken back a little bit by this. Because a lot of times when we talk about these studies, you come on the air and other doctors say, well, there's a little bit of truth in it, but you're suggesting these studies are spot on.
Right. National guidelines do not recommend the additional use of multivitamins. And again, we have select few vitamins that are important to supplement, such as vitamin D, but the other ones really are not going to help you.
So tell me the good ones then. Vitamin D and what else?
Okay, so vitamin D is very important. Probably people need 1,000 extra units a day. Calcium is important. Folic acid is important for childbearing age women, and then you can go either way on the omega fish oils. A lot of it can cause an increased risk of bleeding, so you have to look at it with a really discriminating eye.
You know, for viewers, where can they go to get more information about this? Because I think a lot of people, frankly, be surprised by this.
Yeah, I think the CDC.gov is always a reputable website, and you know, reputable medical journals like the New England Journal of Medicine always have accessible articles to lay people that are available online. So those are good sources.
Well, if you say it, I believe it. So
save your money.
Thank you, Doc.
You bet, Bill.
Most of the people who use our supplements are familiar with the game that's being played here. And this doctor is a proponent of Big Pharma, and I don't think I could recommend anyone going to her as a doctor, because she obviously does not know what takes place in sickness and disease. Every fibromyalgia patient is nutritionally deficient from A to Z, and that's how they get there. Half the doctors of the world can't even find it. So we thought that you should know this because it's absolute disinformation.